Najjar. She was shot and killed by a bullet to her head while she was waving a white flag. I visited the village of Gaza in March of this year, nearly 2 months after the killing of Ruhiya Najjar. I met 23-year-old Yasmina Najjar, who was walking right next to Ruhiya and was shot in the arm and the leg. On the morning of January 13th, Ruhiya had led a group of women out of their heavily shelled neighborhood. Yasmin described what happened as they walked toward the village center waving white flags.
Do you see that red door over there with the opening above the door? Rauhia and I and many other women and girls behind us were walking this way and we were waving flags. Suddenly, we saw one of the Israeli special forces come down the stairs from Faris's house. And as we reached this point, it seemed by the way he was standing that he was aiming his gun at us. I took one step forward and saw a bullet hit Rauhia right near her ear. Rauhia fell down. Here, this is where she fell. I was here. Look, you can still see Rauhia's bloodstains. I was here and Rauhia was over here.
I also spoke to Ruhiya's 15-year-old daughter, Hiba Najjar, who watched as her mother was shot and killed.
The Israelis told us to leave and come towards the center of the village. So we left for the village center, and as we were walking, special forces who were in Faris Najjar's house shot my mother in the head. I wanted to bring her back from there, but our neighbors and friends were nervous for my safety. I think her body lay there from about 8 in the morning till 8 at night.
People in the Najjar neighborhood were outraged that a group of unarmed women and children carrying white flags were targeted by the Israeli army.
احنا قدامهم بالرايات رغم ان احنا ماسكين الرايات قدامهم الحل الواحد قال ماسكين الرايات قدامهم مصوب علينا النار يعني ما ايش معناه هذا.
They fired at us even though we were holding white flags. What can that possibly mean? They meant to kill us. Their shots were intentional, as if they wanted to take revenge on us. We had children, we were waving white flags, but it was useless.
Another neighbor and eyewitness, 31-year-old Imana Najjar, echoed Yasmin's sentiments as she spoke to me from the remains of her relative's home, burnt out by white phosphorus the day before Ruhiya was killed.
روحية جارتنا لما قتلوها كانت بتحمل راية بيضة. علم أبيض كان. علم أبيض كانت بتحمل. ما كانت بتحمل كلاشين أو أي نوع من الأسلحة.
When they killed our neighbor Rauhia, she was holding a white flag. It was a white flag. She didn't have any kind of weapon on her. Even so, they considered her a criminal, a part of the resistance, and they killed her in cold blood.
Iman then showed me the house from where the shots had been fired. She pointed out a hole in the wall with a direct view of the spot where Ruhiya and Yasmin had been shot.
كانت روحية جاية بالأعلام البيضاء من هناك ضرب على فورا على المكان.
Rauhia was coming from there waving a white flag. One soldier was looking out from here and another went down and fired a bullet that directly hit Rauhia. She fell to the ground, but we couldn't get to her. We tried several times to rescue her, but we couldn't because there was still heavy fire coming down on us.
That was Imana Najjar from the village of Gaza in Gaza, where describing the shooting and killing of Rauhia and Najjar. I want to turn to another clip from another story that's also in the Human Rights Watch report. This is the story of Khalid Abed Rabbo, whose 2 daughters, aged 2 and 7, were killed in front of their home in Azbat Abed Rabbo in Jabalia. Khalid Abed Rabbo took me to the spot where his daughters were killed when I visited Gaza in March of this year.
في 7/1 بالضبط يعني كان يوم 4 الجيش الإسرائيلي عمل الموقع الجيش هذا الأمام كواد زعق عليه بالميكروفون.
January 7th, it was a Wednesday. The Israeli army ordered us over a megaphone to leave our houses.
احنا يعني طلعنا من البيت جبنا اللي هو رايات بيضاء ورفعنا الرايات البيضاء اللي أنا وأمي.
We came out holding white flags. My wife, my mother, and my 3 daughters, and I holding white flags.
في هذا المكان اللي احنا واقفين فيه وقفنا لمدة 7 دقائق واحنا رافعين الرايات البيضاء بننطر منهم انه ندخل البيت او نتوجه.
We exited our house from there and came to this very spot. We stood at the spot for 7 minutes, waving flags, waiting to see if they would let us enter our house or go somewhere else.
انتظرنا يعني مدة انه 7 دقائق انه يقولوا لنا شيء ما حكوش معانا
There was a tank there with 2 soldiers sitting on top of it. One was eating chips and the other chocolate. For 7 minutes we stood there without talking. Then suddenly, one emerged from the tank and fired at the children. My daughter Emil, she was 2 years old, her intestines fell out. My daughter Saad, age 7, was also shot. My daughter Summer, age 4, was shot in the back, chest and stomach. Her spine was destroyed.
Suad died almost instantly, and Amal died of her wounds a few hours later because no ambulances were allowed into the area. Samar is paralyzed from the waist down. Khalid Abed Rabbo's mother was also seriously injured. When the family returned home towards the end of Operation Cast Lead, their home was a pile of rubble. I asked Khalid Abed Rabbo whether Hamas had a presence in the area.
This is a border area. There is no resistance here at all. The soldiers were eating chips and chocolate. How ironic that as my child were shot dead, the Israeli soldiers were eating chocolate. They were sitting on top of the tank, not even inside the tank. I mean, there's no resistance here.
Khalid Abed Rabbo from Jabalia describing what happened to his 2 daughters, Fred Abrahams. Talk about, these are 2 of the 7 incidents you investigated. Were these war crimes? What are you calling for?
They're highly suggestive of war crimes. Both cases are really strong. I mean, in the first, the soldiers ordered this group of women to leave the area, and they did with Rauhia al-Najjar waving a white flag. And as they approached the house, they came under fire, and she was killed. The second case is even maybe stronger, because the family was standing outside their home, ordered outside by Israeli soldiers, and they came under fire. But the key thing is there must be an investigation, and the point I want to make, the Israeli government claims, and in their big report that the ambassador was talking about, they claim they're investigating also these 2 cases. 1 week ago, we called these 2 families and asked them a simple question. Has anyone from the Israeli military or government contacted you to ask the basics of what happened to your family? The answer from both families was no. So I want to place serious doubt under the claim that this is an investigation. How much can they really be looking at it if they don't ask the victims themselves?
Fred Abrahams, I want to thank you very much for being with us, senior researcher in the Emergencies Program at Human Rights Watch. The name of the report, White Flag Deaths, Killings of Palestinian Civilians During Operation Cast Lead. This is Democracy Now! We'll be back in a minute. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Anjali. Kamat. Anjali?